Yes, I got my paycheck.
You don't do direct deposit?
What's a direct deposit?
What?
Big E, the finance geek.
So you need to think about how you use your money. Think about money like water. Water is how you sustain yourself. You use it to quench your thirst, you use it to water your plants, you use it to take a shower, and you use it to wipe your ass. Let's say your water comes from a well, meaning that it's finite or limited, and that it only is refilled over time. Think of that well as your income. Now, what will you do with it? Take long, hot showers? How much are you gonna drink? Do you have kids or pets that need it? These are all things that you must factor in. These questions are essentially the fundamentals of budgeting. You can think of all the uses of your water by its interactions. Think about the faucet. All your water comes from the faucet in your house. We use a faucet to distribute water for all kinds of needs. Think about that interaction like how a checking account works. Your checking account is where your money flows. It's where your money needs to be available for immediate use, for living expenses, and anything else you want it for. Without your faucet, you wouldn't have your money readily available to you, unless you always want to carry thousands of dollars in your pocket.
I'm not stupid. I know what a checking account is.
Well, you know, I find that interesting because a checking account is where a direct deposit usually goes.
Yoink.
The next interaction you should think about is between water and the freezer. If you put water into a cup or any type of container and then put it into sub-freezing temperatures like a freezer, then it freezes. But if you leave water out in the open and it evaporates into the air, you never actually use it. But if you freeze it, then it turns solid. As long as you maintain a below freezing temperature, this is beneficial because if you start freezing a little extra water every month from your tap, if there's a month where your water runs a little thin, then you have some in reserve. This dynamic represents a savings account. You can store money in this account. As long as you maintain the proper climate, your money will be safe. That way, you can have it when you need it. Finally, the last interaction we're talking about is containers and water. Now, you may initially have to pay somebody to get a bucket or even give them a cut of your water afterwards. However, if you put a bucket in your backyard, you can actually accumulate water that doesn't come from the tap. You might get condensation or heavy rain that fills the bucket up. In this case, we have snow. So this gives you access to water that you might not have access to otherwise. This dynamic describes investment accounts and interest earned on those investment accounts. However, what you should keep in mind is that once you get your returns, like everything, the government wants its cut. This is the Johnstown Flood Museum. In 1889, a disastrous flood swept through and killed 2,000 citizens. This was caused by failure of a dam and way too much rainfall.
This is relevant because?
Well, it's relevant because the Johnstown flood helps demonstrate the idea of cash flow. You see, money is like water. It accumulates and it flows. The flood is a cautionary tale. The dam represents a lack of money management. Behind the dam is all the money you make. If you don't put the money into an account where then it can be spent efficiently, saved, or invested, it has nowhere to go. Well, if the weather in your life gets rough and you have some faulty dam construction, well, the rest is history. Think of investing like planting vegetables. The difference between them is when the government gets their cut. The two options are tax deferred or tax-free investing. This potato represents a Roth IRA. In order to get the potato, you have to give the government some of the seeds up front. What's great though is that you don't have to give the government any more of your crop once you make the initial payment. You pay the taxes up front, i.e. the seeds, so that your investment can grow tax-free. These carrots and eggplant represents tax-deferred investments. This is when you don't pay taxes on the front end. You don't give any seeds before you plant them. The government gets its share when it's time to harvest. Well, that's our show. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, and if you like what you see, let us know and consider following. If we can help you with anything, feel free to reach out and contact us. You can find our contact in the description below. We'll see you next time.